What is up, and welcome to the All Basketball Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Maurice Dixon, coming to you on October 27th. And we got another high school basketball season preview. We got Cory Cason on the show from Discovery High School in, in the Metro Atlanta, Lawrenceville, Gwinnett County area. Coach Cason, how you doing this morning?
Doing well, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show. First, you, as we talked about in the pre-show, you've been the coach of Discovery all 7 seasons since it opened. You were an assistant at Norcross, so is that kind of how you cut your teeth, so to speak, to get into the coaching ranks?
Yeah, well, I attended University of Georgia, and I was a student manager with the boys or with the men's team there for 4 years during my undergrad. Then I stayed on staff and was a graduate assistant under Mark Fox for 2 years as well, and stayed on and did director of operations for a year with them after my GA position. So I was, all in all, was in different capacities with the Georgia basketball team for 8 different seasons in different roles with them. Prior to 2011, I joined the staff over at Norcross and worked for 4 years with Jesse before taking the job over here at Discovery.
Okay. So as far as your going against your mentor, so to speak, Coach Jesse Williams over at Norcross, how is that for you when you play those guys, because you're in the same region?
I mean, it's always fun to compete with him. It's one of those things. We're still really close. Even before we kind of got in the same region, we've stayed in close contact. We talk usually multiple times a week about different things, and but it's always fun to compete. He's still got a little bit of a Nick Saban stranglehold on me right now. We got to find a way to beat him here at some point. But it is, we had some really close competitive games last year. 2 of our games kind of came down to the last possession. So it's been fun.
Okay, good to know. Good to know you guys were right there with them to the end. They just edged you out, so to speak.
Yeah.
Speaking of last season, just a crazy season, somewhat termed maybe as the COVID season, but we were all kind of new to this pandemic and everything. Looking back on it, even though we're still in the pandemic, but looking back on that first season, just how would you sum it all up?
I mean, just different, I would say. I mean, different was probably the biggest thing, man. Just nothing was quite the same as normal. Obviously, not having fans in the gym takes out a lot of the atmosphere situation for kids, which is, part of, from a competitive standpoint, something that I really enjoy, and I know the kids do as well. Even just like locker room, time spent in the locker room together, things like that just weren't quite the same. We had so many restrictions in comparison to previous years. So it was certainly a different year. As the year went along, we grew a little more accustomed to it, and we honestly didn't have too many issues, quite honestly. We only really had one hiccup for about a week that affected 2 guys. So in the grand scheme of things, we didn't have a lot of effect directly to our team, but we definitely had some adjustments to the schedule from other teams and things like that. But I mean, all in all, I was really proud of kind of the guys' ability to persevere through some changes, and we had a strong senior class of guys who were had been in the program for a while, so it was good to see them kind of at least get to have their senior season and go out with a good year.
Yeah, definitely good for those guys to get to compete. As crazy as things were. How is the Gwinnett County school system and everything? How are they adjusting with this upcoming season? Is there going to be a capacity limit, or do you have to?
As far as I know right now, I don't think we have any kind of capacity restrictions in gyms. We are still under a little bit of some guidelines in terms of just how we handle practices and things like that. But in terms of fan capacity at games, as of right now, we don't have restrictions. to my knowledge at least.
Okay, definitely great to hear. I mean, there is a vaccine out there and something to help us. So we got to start getting back to some type of normalcy. Yeah. And sorry, with the so as I can somewhat see in your gym now, are you guys having more shot clock games this season?
Yeah, so we'll play with the shot clock primarily the entire season. You know, our region has agreed to play with the shot clock throughout the year. You know, so it's for us, you know, we just see it as something to go ahead and implement, even though it's not mandatory for the state until next year. The county has put them in for us throughout the county. So all of our in-county games, we've agreed to play with it. And I believe just about all of our regular season games, off the top of my head, we've agreed to use it. There's only maybe one or two teams on my schedule who have not got shot clocks yet. I think most of those teams have plans or intentions of having them at some point before the season. So hopefully it's something we use and something we kind of start getting accustomed to, so that going into next year is, you know, not quite as big of a challenge when it becomes a statewide thing.
Okay, great. Did you were you for the proposal set up by, I know Coach Welch did them as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was certainly it's a change that's necessary. It's needed. I mean, it's something for you know, especially around here with as many kids as we have to go play at the next level. It's something for them to get accustomed to, and I think it just overall cleans up the game. You know, there's a lot of percentage, you know, I'd say 90% of the game where it may not affect a ton, but you know, some of those late game situations where, you know, a team may have been willing to hold the ball for 2 or 3 minutes, you know, up a couple points late in the game. It just, I think, allows teams a little more of a strategy to have the ability to make a comeback late, things like that. Whereas in the past, you really had to, if you were down late, you know, you had to really rely on fouling really early and hoping for best case, you know, missing free throws and things like that. Whereas now you can actually strategize and know, hey, you know, we got 4 minutes to go, so I know I've got at least 8 possessions left, even without fouls and things like that, where you can kind of game plan.
Okay, yeah, definitely. We don't need any more stall ball. Is it?
Those are tough, man.
Those are tough to watch and to log as I'm keeping up with games. I mean, it makes the time go by fast, but it's like we need some entertainment here too.
Yes. Yeah.
But specifically as far as your team, Coach, tell me a little bit about you said you had a good group of seniors who left. They left the program off with a winning record last season, 20-10 overall, 8-4 in your region. But tell me about some of the new guys you're expecting to see improvement from and to lead you guys this season.
Yeah. Well, our leading returner is Cory McGowan. He kind of was our sixth man last year. Kind of a wing shooter, about 6'3", pretty good athlete. So he kind of expecting him to kind of take over from a leadership standpoint, improve, you know, kind of step his game up from a scoring standpoint for us. Another senior, Danu Baker, who sat out last year. Actually, parents held him out with COVID stuff. About a 6'6" senior who, you know, is going to be a really big glue guy for us. Really good defensive player, knows the game, understands the game. You know, may not necessarily fill up the stat sheet everywhere, but is a kid that, you know, does all the little stuff, will take charges. He's been really instrumental in our fall kind of development stuff, being a leader in the locker room. So he's a guy that also hope to, you know, kind of see big things from. And we have a couple transfers, one from Duluth, Zaylen Blue, who I think was about a 12 or 13 point a game kid for them last year, who's also a senior. And then a transfer from Meadow Creek, 6'6", kind of forward, Colby Williams, who he's got some potential, needs some, you know, got to continue to get stronger. He's got some potential to help us, I believe, this year. And then honestly, outside of that, you know, I've got about 4 or 5 sophomores who, for better or worse, are going to get to play a lot this year. You know, we're just really young. But, you know, Byron Martin and Trey Hobbs are two kind of off the top that should see significant playing time as sophomores, which I've tried to explain to them how rare that is at this level and this, you know, in our region. And not only rare, but also very challenging and very tough. So I need those guys to grow up and grow up fast. So for us to be competitive as we get deeper into the region season.
Yeah, I hope they give you guys some depth and help out the main guys. It's always good to have depth. Just one thing, I guess some things or one issue you felt like last season the team had that you hope they clean up this season.
You know, last year, honestly, I mean, I don't have a ton of stuff I would say necessarily negative about the group, man. If we, you know, I think we, with what we had, if I'm being, you know, if I was being 100% honest, I think we competed at a high level in every game. I think I'll look back, you know, there was really only one game last year where we were blown out, and we competed in every game. We were in every game. So I've used them as a building block with this group about just, you know, we didn't have a bunch of Division I kids running around. We had a couple Division II kids, but, you know, how, you know, with experience and, you know, learning and playing together, we can, you know, you can win a lot of games without necessarily having, you know, 4 or 5 star players or whatever it may be. And you can still compete just with experience, toughness, you know, playing hard, playing together, those type of things. So.
Okay, yeah, great. Talk to me about a little bit about your schedule. Any tournaments or showcases you're going to be in outside of region play and everything?
This year we're playing Thanksgiving tournament over at Tequila High School, which has got a pretty good field. We will play non-region games at Parkview, which has a good returning group. We'll play at Buford. We play Winder Barrow, who you know, advanced to the second round last year in state in 6A. Trying to think off the top. We play every year. We play Central Gwinnett twice as our kind of crosstown rivalry game. And we opened the season with Peachtree Ridge, who has been one of our biggest rivals kind of here at this school over the last 3 or 4 years. So we opened the season with them on Friday night, that opening night. So that should be good as well. So we got a lot of in-county games, you know, against high-level opponents. You know, in terms of trying to find good competition, man, we always, you know, try to get these guys ready. We play a heavy front-loaded schedule. I think we play like 7 games in 11 or 12 days to start the season. And I really try to get these guys groomed up for region play so that come January and February, we're basically sticking with in-region games and can focus there. So.
Okay, good to know. Just looking back last season at the standings, Berkmar and Norcross were 2 tough teams in your region. I'm assuming You're expecting some of the same things possibly.
Yeah, I mean, Berkmar and Norcross both return a lot of talent. Archer is also returns a lot of upperclassmen, a lot of kids. I believe they returned all but one of their guys from their rotation last year. So I would expect them to be also a very tough out this year in our region. Meadow Creek High School's also got a lot of talent returning from a bunch of young guys who played kind of as sophomores last year, kind of similar to what we'll be doing this year. So I mean, I would expect a lot of depth, a lot of talent in this region. But I would definitely expect, you know, Berkmar, Norcross, and Archer to be teams that, you know, on paper will be probably top 10 teams in the state, at least coming into the preseason.
Okay. I'm pretty sure I saw, you said Zaylen Blue. I watched it. I was at a couple of, at least one of the loose games last year. Didn't have a successful season, but I think I saw him play. He's pretty one of their more talented players.
Yeah, he's a skilled offensive guy. You know, the biggest thing, you know, can really shoot the ball, plays really hard, really competes defensively. You know, the biggest thing we've worked in with him is just, you know, learning what's a good shot, what's a bad shot, and just kind of staying poised. He's very talented, but just being able to handle the ball under pressure, and like I said, kind of understanding the difference between just a shot, and an elite, an open shot, a great shot. So being a little more patient and understanding that just kind of let the game come to him. The shots will help, the shots will find him if he's patient, and kind of just working on him with that a lot here in the offseason to kind of get better with that.
Okay, good to hear. Did any of your guys who graduated, seniors, you say today, are they playing college anywhere you want to talk about?
Yeah, I've got, Ian Davis, who was an all-region guy for us the last 2 years. He's over at Georgia College. Navon Mays, who was defensive player in the region, defensive player of the year in our region last year, an all-region guy. He's at Lander University Division II. And then I've got 2 other guys, Mikey Moncrief and Cameron Shelton, who are both also as well. So, 4 of our 5 starters from last season are, going on to play at the next level, which is, as a coach is, the most rewarding thing that really you can get.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry, on those last 2 guys you cut out, the last 2 names you were saying?
Cameron Shelton and Mikey Moncrief.
Okay.
Cam landed at a Division III in Iowa, Penn University, and Mikey is at San Bernardino Community College out in California playing. So,
okay.
Mikey was also an all-region player last year. He was our second leading scorer behind Ian, and then Cam was our all-time leading assist guy here at Discovery High School. So,
okay, great to hear. So those are the specific questions I have, Coach. Is there anything else you want to add before I close out the show?
I think I'm good, man. I appreciate you having me on, and let me know if you need anything else.
Will do. Glad you're able to come on. I look forward to getting out some of your home games and away games. Stuff is close, right in the pretty much right in my backyard.
Our schedule should be up on Max Preps and stuff. So if you have any, it should be up on there.
Yeah, I keep close tabs to Max Preps. Yeah.
Awesome.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Else, man, and thanks for having me.
Thank you, and good luck in this season.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. And well, folks, that's another episode of the All Basketball Podcast. Definitely appreciate Coach Cory Cason coming on from Discovery High School to talk to me about the 21-22 basketball season, which is not too far off now. Remember, subscribe to the All Basketball Podcast on your listening platforms. It can be found there, and also on YouTube. Until next time, I'm Maurice Dixon. Peace and be blessed in Jesus' name.